Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Sunday, December 8th, 2024, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside will be mild today, with a high of 72.3 degrees and a low of 52.1 degrees Fahrenheit, perfect for getting out and enjoying some fresh air. Coming up, we'll examine the significance of Trump's recent advocacy for a ceasefire in Ukraine and what it means for the ongoing conflict. Then, we'll explore how the tragic murder of a UnitedHealthcare CEO has created waves of concern throughout the healthcare industry. Finally, we'll delve into the science behind weighted blankets and investigate whether there's solid evidence supporting their popular therapeutic claims. All this and more ahead on Alex's News. Stay tuned. We begin with major developments in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Joining us now is our international affairs correspondent, Ethan Parker. Ethan, tell us about this significant meeting that took place in Paris today.
Thanks, Grace. A crucial meeting was held today at the Elysee Copyright Palace in Paris, bringing together President-elect Donald Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and French President Emmanuel Macron. This meeting coincided with the reopening of the historic Notre Dame Cathedral.
And I understand Trump made some notable statements following this meeting?
That's right, Grace. According to Barron's, Trump took to his Truth Social platform to call for an immediate ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. He expressed deep concern about the human toll of this conflict, stating, and I quote, "Too many lives are being so needlessly wasted, too many families destroyed, and if it keeps going, it can turn into something much bigger and far worse."
What was President Zelensky's response to this meeting?
According to YN News, Zelensky described the meeting as good and productive. He emphasized Ukraine's desire for what he called a just peace, with robust security guarantees for his country. He also revealed some sobering statistics. Since Russia's invasion began in February 2022, Ukraine has lost 43,000 soldiers and had 370,000 wounded.
We're also hearing about a new aid package from the current administration?
Yes, Grace. The Economic Times reports that the Biden administration has announced a $988 million assistance package under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. This includes crucial military equipment like HIMARS munitions, unmanned aerial systems, and support for maintaining and repairing military equipment.
And what about potential peace plans being discussed?
Several proposals are being considered by Trump's advisors, including establishing a demilitarized zone along the current front lines, freezing the conflict where it stands, and potentially having Ukraine delay its NATO membership. There's also discussion about using conditional military aid as leverage to bring both Moscow and Kyiv to the negotiating table. Interestingly, Trump has suggested that China might play a role in resolving the conflict.
Thank you for that comprehensive update, Ethan. We'll continue to follow this developing story. And now to our second story of the morning. A manhunt is intensifying following the shocking murder of UnitedHealthcare's CEO in New York City. For more on this developing story, we turn to our reporter Chloe Martinez. Chloe, what can you tell us about this targeted attack?
Grace, according to multiple sources including Fox 5 Atlanta and ABC News, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, who had served as UnitedHealthcare's CEO since 2021, was fatally shot Wednesday morning outside the Hilton Midtown Hotel in Manhattan, near 6th Avenue and West 54th Street.
What do we know about how this attack was carried out?
Surveillance footage reviewed by CBS News shows this was clearly premeditated. The gunman arrived on foot about 5 minutes before Thompson and waited for him. The suspect, described as a white male wearing a tan jacket, black face mask, and black and white sneakers, shot Thompson in the chest before fleeing the scene on a bicycle into Central Park.
I understand investigators have found some rather unusual evidence. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Grace. According to police reports, they recovered a backpack linked to the suspect containing Monopoly money and a jacket. Even more disturbing, Fox 9 Minneapolis Street Paul reports that shell casings found at the scene had 3 words written on them: deny, defend, and depose.
Has there been any indication of a possible motive?
Yes, Thompson's wife has revealed to investigators that he had recently received threats from angry customers. The case has become so significant that the FBI has stepped in, offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction.
How has the healthcare industry responded to this tragedy?
The impact has been immediate and widespread. According to reporting from multiple sources, Medica closed its headquarters in Minnetonka as a precautionary measure, and many major healthcare companies have removed leadership bios and photos from their websites. A UnitedHealth Group investors conference was also abruptly terminated following Thompson's death.
And what's the latest on the suspect's whereabouts?
Investigators believe the suspect has left New York City by bus and may be heading to Atlanta. They're currently reviewing surveillance footage and examining evidence, including a cell phone left behind by the suspect. There's also an investigation into a fake bomb threat that was made at Thompson's home in Maple Grove the same night as his murder.
Thank you for that comprehensive report, Chloe. We'll be sure to keep our viewers updated as this story develops. Here are some other headlines. Opposition insurgents have made significant gains in Syria, capturing more than 50 villages and advancing to within a kilometer of Aleppo city. Reports indicate President Bashar Assad has left the country as opposition fighters entered Damascus. The Syrian Prime Minister has suggested a transition to a new government. Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris held its first Mass since the devastating 2019 fire. Only about 30 people attended the service in a side chapel, with participants wearing construction helmets for safety. The Mass was broadcast live on Catholic TV. Restoration work on the cathedral is projected to be completed by April 2024. In South Korea, former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun has been detained by prosecutors following a controversial martial law declaration by President Yoon Suk-yeol. The martial law was quickly overturned by Parliament and lifted just hours after being declared. Kim is being investigated for allegations of treason and other misdeeds related to the declaration. The college football playoff is expanding to a 12-team format for the 2024-25 season. The new system will include 5 automatic bids for conference champions and 7 at-large spots. First-round games will be played at home fields in December, with quarterfinals at bowl games, and the championship game set for Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Military leaders are expressing concern over a list of 20 senior officers labeled as woke by a conservative group. The list targets officers who have supported diversity initiatives, including 9 Air Force generals, 7 Navy admirals, and 4 Army generals. Former Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel warns this could have serious consequences for military morale and retention. And now for our third and final story this morning, we turn to a fascinating look at the science behind weighted blankets, which have become increasingly popular in recent years. Joining us to discuss this is our health and wellness reporter, Ethan Martinez. Ethan, what's the latest research telling us about these blankets?
Thanks, Grace. According to AP News, while weighted blankets have gained quite a following, the scientific evidence behind their benefits is still evolving. One notable study involving 120 people with insomnia found that participants actually slept better with weighted blankets compared to lighter alternatives.
That's interesting, Ethan. What about their effects on specific conditions like autism or chronic pain?
Well, Grace, the research shows mixed results. A study of 67 children with autism showed no significant impact on sleep patterns, though both children and parents reported preferring the blankets. Additionally, research involving 94 adults with chronic pain showed that heavier weighted blankets helped reduce pain, although sleep quality wasn't necessarily improved.
I know there are a lot of claims about how these blankets affect our hormones. What does the science say about that?
That's a great question, Grace. While there's been speculation about these blankets increasing hormones like oxytocin, often called the love hormone, there's actually no direct clinical evidence supporting these claims. One study did find increased melatonin production, but researchers found no significant changes in oxytocin levels.
For our viewers who might be interested in trying one, what do experts recommend?
According to sleep medicine experts from UCLA Health and Weill Cornell Medicine, the general recommendation is to choose a blanket that's about 10% of your body weight. Quality blankets typically range from $50 to $300. However, it's important to note that they're not recommended for babies, toddlers, or people with sleep apnea or respiratory problems without first consulting a doctor.
Thank you for breaking that down for us, Ethan. Really interesting information about these popular sleep aids.
My pleasure, Grace.
That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 3.5, the Perplexity API, and the Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.